Welcome to the Goodish Girls, guys. The new home of theories, lore, and vibes. We hit that slogan last episode, and I have ran with it since. I'm obsessed.
It's a great slogan. I even bought stuff to
really
make new shirts, so...
Yes, we're gonna have merch. Theories, lore, and vibes. And then we have our drink of the day. We have coffee, because it is 9 o'clock in the morning. Yes.
I haven't had coffee in such a long time. I've been drinking Red Bulls, but then I ran out of Red Bull yesterday, so it was perfect.
9 a.m., crack open a Red Bull.
Yeah, sometimes I have two. So...
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's going well with a newborn over here.
Yeah. I need a IV of coffee. Just pop it right in.
Straight caffeine.
I do coffee, and then I switch to I might do a Red Bull in the afternoon. I might do a Diet Coke. I became a Diet Coke early this year.
Ugh, I'm not a diet.
Wow.
I can't get on the diet train, and everybody says Diet Coke tastes so good, so I tried it.
You like it? How did you try it though? What was it? Was it in a can?
Yeah.
Was it?
No, I prefer my soda in a can. I like it crisp and cold. I like the crack.
I challenge you to try it over ice. There's nothing
I thought you were
gonna
say.
What?
I thought you were gonna say from McDonald's or something, because everybody's always like.
I have heard that.
Yeah.
McDonald's has the best Coke. I don't know. What I really want is a cherry Coke. But then there's so much sugar, and then I'm then I feel bad. I don't know.
Cherry
As if
Coke.
I'm not taking sugars in other ways, but.
Hold on. I have to ask you this question. Cherry Coke or cherry Pepsi?
Cherry Coke. I don't like Pepsi.
At all?
Mm-mm.
See, I grew up with either grandparents. My mom's mom always had Coke in her house. She was an avid Coke drinker. My dad's mom was an avid Pepsi drinker. So I just had to be okay with both, because whoever's house we went to, that's what they had.
Mm-hmm.
And that was
I
sad.
never drank soda growing up. There was soda all around me growing up. I never liked it until this year. I was I think I like Diet Coke. And then I've never had soda in our home. I've always had bubblies, coconut waters, liquid IVs, whatever. But then the other day at Publix, the mini ones that are this big, they were buy one get one free. They're so cute, and I feel damn, I know Diet Coke. And then my husband opened the fridge and he was like, "What the fuck is in the fridge? Why do you have soda in here? We're not a soda house." And I was like, "They were on sale."
That is wild.
This is how
to
it
me.
starts.
This is wild to me.
We're just not soda.
I grew up. Well, I can't say I grew up in a soda house. I was allowed to have soda, at dinner or on occasions. And then junior high, when I was in swim team, they started having, we call it pop in the Midwest. So I keep wanting to say pop, but I know people down here in Florida are like, "What the fuck is pop? It's soda."
What is a pop?
Anyway, so they started having pop as a reward that you could get. You would take your ribbons, and if you got a first place or a second place ribbon, that's how many you could cash in for a, treat for the week, for working hard. And they started offering pop, and then I started getting root beer because it didn't have caffeine, so I was allowed to have root beer.
Yep.
And then I was allowed to have Dr. Pepper, and I've been on Dr. Pepper for the rest of my life.
Forever. So. You know what you can't beat, though? A dirty soda.
Yes.
Secret Life of Mormon Wives has it right. I mean, obviously I'm not going to go do ketamine, but no, I don't need to do ketamine. I do a soda with some coconut in it and some cream. This dirty soda isn't doing it. I'm actually going to need a hit of ketamine. These ladies are wild.
I think it'll do the opposite, though. Isn't ketamine supposed to make you
I don't know what it does. I've actually never done ketamine, so I couldn't tell you.
Me either, but I don't know. But you haven't watched the show, though.
You made me watch an episode.
Okay, but if you watch the show, there's an episode where Jen goes and does it with her husband, Zach. I don't know, I can't think of his name right now. He's the one that was called an Oompa Loompa or a Munchkin. A Munchkin on the last episode. It's a whole thing. Anyway.
Oh my god.
They were doing it.
They're mean in Utah.
And they both seemed super high. So I think it's supposed to do the opposite.
So we're going to go drink a ton of soda, and then we're going to get some ketamine, and we're going to take some downers with our uppers.
They're going to be fighting. Yeah, that's what it seems like.
Yeah, what a journey that is. Okay. I don't think that's for me. But
anyway,
it's for some. I think I'll just drink coffee.
Yeah.
That'd be fine.
I'll just go with my Red Bull.
Wild. Okay, all right, we need to get into this.
Yeah.
I can't. Welcome to the Goodish Girls, guys. My name is Dallas.
And I'm Kass.
And let's talk about Brimstone. This is a spoiler series, so please make sure you have read not only Quicksilver, but also all of Brimstone and the bonus chapters, because we will be referencing all of it throughout the entire series. If you need the bonus chapters, you can get most of them on Callie Hart's website for free. You might need to sign up for her newsletter for that as well, but that is free to sign up for. Why would you not want to be signed up for that newsletter? It's great. And then for the bonus chapter, The Maze, you can find that at the back of your Kindle Unlimited subscription for Quicksilver. So as soon as you're done reading Quicksilver, just keep scrolling and it'll take you to that chapter as well. So here we go. Let's do it. So we are covering chapters 8 through 15 today. I'm so excited. I'm ready. So with each chapter, we are going to give you like a quick... Yeah, a lot happens. We're going to give you a quick chapter recap, and then we'll go into some plot points. Theories that maybe did come true from our Quicksilver deep dive. Theories that did not come true, if there are any. Okay, I'm not a psychic, all right? I'm not a psychic. Some of mine came true. Most of them did not, and I am mad about it.
Too much into the detail. Callie Hart said the devil's in the detail, and
but you
Dallas
know what?
said, fucking bet. Let me read every single line over again.
But you know what? I have to do it more now because we missed one in the first book. I missed a whole sentence that I read right over, and it was literally right there. So you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to read more.
This sentence was 5 letters, 5 words long, okay?
Yep. And I was like, that doesn't matter.
Yeah, 'cause she never mentions it again. How?
Nope. That's it. And I should have known. And I focused too much on the other ones instead of him. Now I know. Now I know what Callie's game is.
You know.
I see you, Callie Hart.
You're like, I'm going to remember everything that doesn't matter.
I'm going to remember everything. So, chapter 8. Varys is literally not sleeping at all. Renfis lets his hatred for Tal live rent-free in his dome, while Irvin actually becomes literal dust and ash. So this is a pretty wild chapter. We, again, learn Varys is not sleeping, and she has not slept since she was changed by Tal. Vampires sleep during the day because the sun makes them but she, again, has not rested at all. She's pacing. She is, like, on edge. I can't relate. I cannot function when I'm tired. No, I've been there. We have both been in newborn depths. But, like, I don't know how she's, like, making queenly decisions. That's not me.
I don't think... Well, I can't say that she's not making queenly decisions. I think she has a lot of help, and I feel like Tal and Kingfisher are like, this is what is supposed to happen. This is what you're supposed to say.
Probably.
And so she's like, yes, that's what happens. That's what I say.
Yes, okay. That girl is tired. And this does come back. Like, her not sleeping is something she is going to have, like, she has to work on,
important. Right? Yeah.
Yes. So, also, we figure out a little bit more of why Ren hates Talladega so much. So, Malcolm made Tal do horrible things, like, the whole time that Malcolm was there. But the night that everybody joined the Brotherhood, Tal chose what they're calling death instead. So, basically, to stay a vampire, to, like, be a vampire, right? That's what he chose. But we know that, like, he didn't actually choose that, right? Like, he chose love, ? Right?
Yeah. Yes. Not question mark. Period.
Yeah.
He made a rational decision, in my opinion.
Okay.
From what we learn later, I think he made the correct decision in what was supposed to Okay, listen. In what was supposed to happen, obviously.
Like with Everlane?
Yes. Should not happen. So he was like, I'm not doing that. Right. And then he unfortunately loved this other bitch instead. So he went to that. I cannot in my head wrap around why Ren hates him so much.
Really?
I love Ren, okay? I will fight for that man every day. Mm-hmm. But Tal literally left the girl that Ren likes, okay? So he gave you an open, bro. Slide in. He made a very rational, good decision. It was like, this is not for me. I should not be doing this. And Ren's like, fuck that guy. Would you rather he would have stuck around? Like, I don't understand.
I think it's more, right? So not only did he leave
he's a vampire,
possibly heartbroken, right? Was she super upset about this? Did he have to help everyone go through this emotional journey?
slides in.
He is an honorable man. He does not slide in.
The man has braids in his hair. He can slide in. It's fine.
More braids. They're for war. He has braids.
And he's blonde or redhead or something.
He can do whatever he wants. And hear me out. He's upset, right? Because not only did Tal leave Everlane, right? Whether or not he likes their irrelevant. He then shows Everlane in on a little choker, like on a leash, okay? Not consensual, so it's not okay. Has to be consensual to be okay. It was not, right? I know that Malcolm made him do that. I get it. But from Ren's point of view, if this was like, maybe I don't know, I hold a grudge till death. Like, I can't ever let I have a really hard time letting grudges go.
Yeah.
I'm working on it. But like, I think Ren is the same, right? So I'm like, fuck that guy. Right?
No.
They hurt you, fuck that guy.
No, we love
I'm not saying I don't like Tal. I'm not saying I don't like Tal. I do like Tal. What I'm saying is I understand why Ren is like, why are we letting this man back into our lives?
I understand why he can have a little bit of... He can be upset, that's fine. But, like, why do you hate him so much when he has shown redeemable qualities since?
Has he, besides being serious, what does Ren actually know? Does Ren know what happened in the maze?
Why is that?
Does he know?
Why is that Tal's problem that Ren is not on the hot gossip train?
I'm just saying Ren doesn't have all the information. He should know everything.
LORRETH knows. Does everybody else just know except for Ren?
I mean, maybe Ren does know, and it's just like, I don't care. Like, this man, I can't. And he is allowed to hate him. They're allowed not to be friends.
That's fine, but...
I don't see Ren, like, going around, like, trying to, like, sabotage him. But I think he has the right to question and be like, why are we letting this man into our lives again? I don't understand.
I guess.
I don't know. I don't agree to disagree, right? But just like Ren and Tal, they're going to agree to disagree.
Speaking of Ren, okay, he's having a little side conversation with Kingfisher, and Kingfisher starts playing like he normally does with his sarcasm, where he's like, I don't love Saris that much, like, she's not that important to me, like, making these little jokes, and Ren is taking him fully seriously. Like, he is getting so worked up, and I think it's the funniest thing, because then Kingfisher starts laughing, and Ren's like, oh, fuck you, like, kind of like that thing. But he's like, I don't love Saris that much. And he's like, what do you mean? What do you mean you don't love her that much? And he's like, yeah, I just
Ren
don't.
has been through a lot. All that man wants is peace. He's like, we worked so hard for you to be with this woman. What do you mean you don't love her? He's just one of those very loyal people.
He's too serious. He needs to take out his braids and relax a little bit.
Let him free. He probably has a headache.
Probably.
Poor Ren. He probably does. So, we learned a little bit more about a Rin, right? Which is not an actual city, but they consider it an organism. It is where camp is set, right? But that is ever changing. When they show up, it's in ruins. It's gone. They show up and 11,000 are dead and gone. Nothing left of them. And if you remember in Quicksilver, we learn that camp has generations of families that have lived there fighting that war that they were fighting. So many dead, gone. Like everything is burnt to a crisp, basically.
This is where my anxiety fully spiked. The first point was when the feeders were walking like The Last of Us down the hill, and I was like, oh hell no. And then
it was sketch.
This is the second one. I was like, we're really fucked. We're screwed for the rest of the book. And then
for sure. So eventually they come back to the feeders, right, that they originally had that were tied to the tree, and everywhere that they were bleeding black blood, and it was contaminating the ground with rot and spread throughout the entire camp. I have so many questions about this rot, right? So my question is that we know that the rot has spread to other realms, right? From the leaves that are falling off of the tree, in the tree of life, essentially, with Zareth. How is the rot getting there, right? We have an assumption of how the rot is getting here to Kalish because of, supposedly the portal and supposedly Madras sending the feeders through because they're human. How did Madra get a hold of this rot?
So
I have a lot of theories on Madra.
So yeah, me too. But when I read this, the first thing that came to my mind was Moana.
Like the heart of Tafiti is stolen?
Yeah. Well, not that, but like the rot, right?
Not that.
As soon as that heart is gone, this black rot shows up and it's spreading to all the islands and killing things. Mm-hmm. What if this book is just Moana? What if they have to get
Callie Hart
Madra's
actually
heart?
Doesn't like Star Wars. She only likes Disney.
What if, technically Star Wars is Disney now.
Okay, fair.
Yeah, but what if they have to get Madra's heart or something to stop this rot? Moana.
Okay, so
Number
they have
3.
to literally carve it right out of her chest.
I guess. I don't know. They're vampires.
I don't hate it. I don't hate the theory. I'm gonna let it simmer. But that's chapter 8. It's short, but it's a lot.
Yeah. It also reminds me of Stranger Things. Where they have the tears or the rips in the rot from the upside down comes out. Maybe it's just leaking through the portals. Maybe people don't have to bring it there.
Maybe. I don't think there was any evidence of it leaking through the portal, but...
Yeah, that's fair.
I mean,
maybe it's particles that you can't see. I don't know. I'm just theorizing. Like The Last of Us. I'm just going to keep pulling up things.
She just watches every show and is like, I'm going to put this in there. I'm going to put that in there.
That's all I do all day.
I don't know. I don't know if she does that.
Movies and TV.
That's funny. So yeah, that's chapter 8. It's a short chapter, but a lot happens in it in a very short period of time.
Yeah. Chapter 9 is called Hidden. Sarah starts hearing the voices again, like a psych patient. But this time they're coming from Everlane, whose body is being used as a vessel for Kingfisher's mom. She's telling Sarah to find a book, but don't tell Kingfisher about this book. And I just want to say, not her promoting keeping secrets from your oathbound lover. Shaking my head.
Yeah, yeah, I was like, I don't know if this is his mom. At first I was like, I don't know. I don't think Mama would say this. So, don't tell him. So, Everlane is still sleeping, as we know, because she sleeps the entire book. So, it's new information, but it's not new information. Yeah, again, Everlane sleeping the entire book was not on my bingo card. She still has Malcolm's venom in her body. Saris was hearing Quicksilver, right? But she's like, there should not be any Quicksilver here. But it was actually in her little tiny earrings. And she was like, oh, you're not supposed to be here. But then it's talking, right? So it's like, she hears you, she feels you, open the gate, open the gate. Like the gate, open it. And it's begging her to open it, right? So she touches these earrings, essentially, and they melt immediately and touch Everlane's skin. They liquefy, right? And then Everlane, I guess she becomes the gate, right? She's a conduit now.
Yeah.
And so it was interesting because Saris never willed it to do anything. It just happened. And I noticed she can turn it from a solid to a liquid, but I don't think that was her intention. I think she was trying to remove the earrings, but I don't think she intended to immediately turn into a liquid.
I don't think she was. I think she was just trying to touch it to see if that's where the Quicksilver is. Because, I mean, she was looking at it, so then she's kind of like, is that it? But we know this is how her power is supposed to be, right? At some point, she should just be able to just touch or do things with the Quicksilver and not have to will it or not, speak with it or make deals with it. That's supposed to be her power. So, it's kind of weird that before all these things with her runes show up, that she's able to do it on a small scale. But my question is, did Adina give Everlane those earrings so that she could have this moment with Saris? Did she see this in the future and was like, I'm going to gift this to Everlane? Did she give her the earrings for this moment?
I like that theory. I think Adina knows everything. I am under the assumption that if it happened, Adina knew that it was going to happen.
Right. So did she set all this shit up?
I think she knew. Yes. I think Adina knows everything.
Adina made the rock? We're getting wild with our theories over here. I don't know. She knows everything.
I need your receipt. You're just throwing this shit out there.
Yeah. I'm just gonna say crazy things because apparently that's what Callie Hart pulls from.
No, girl.
All she said was Styx was a god.
Adina did not make the rot.
Maybe.
Okay,
maybe.
I disagree with that theory that Adina started the rot. I do not think she started the rot. I think she always knew it was coming. I think she saw it. No, she did not start the rot. Unless you can bring me a receipt, I'm not jumping on that bandwagon.
Do I need a receipt?
Yes, for theory. She's wild.
I haven't had a Red Bull
Wild.
today. I'm just...
I can see that.
The
You're
coffee's
crazy.
not doing anything.
I think it is.
I don't think it is.
So Everlane's eyes went pure white, right? And she starts speaking, and she starts saying that she has been waiting centuries to speak her by full name. And Adina was there, as we know. Onyx slept through this entire process. I want that on record. I was not worried. At first I was like, ooh, like, I don't know what's happening. Onyx is like snoring through this, right? And I was, as soon as I read that line, I was like, oh, we're fine. Because Onyx knows fucking everything, obviously.
Yeah, same. Because
I was like, we're good.
I think, so, first off, my literal note from when I read this part was that, one, I can't stop thinking of the theory from Between Pages and Friends that Everlane...
Oh, about Everlane?
Yes. And so at first I was like, oh my gosh, what is happening? But then she's like, oh, Onyx is curled up at her feet, still sleeping. And I was like, why would Onyx spend time with her if she's bad? I feel like he would sense it.
Right, why would he would know. He would sense it. And if Adina was a threat at all, he would have been up, hackles raised.
Or if Everlane is a threat, right? Like their theory. Like, she's a problem. She's bad. Is she gone? And now that Adina is in that vessel, Onyx is chill with it?
Maybe.
I don't know.
And I also don't know if we have any instances in book 1 where Onyx and Everlane are on the same page.
That's what I'm saying.
So we don't know. We know that when Onyx is with Carrion, he's like, you know?
Maybe that's just because Carrion's annoying, you know? I think everybody's a little annoyed with Carrion at first.
Yes, that's true.
Yeah.
So Ceres asks Adina to let Everlane go. She's like, let her go, bring her back, right? But she does not have control over whatever, like, coma Everlane is in. And then she said, she's in shadow. I cannot see. And I am questioning everything that has the fucking word shadow in it. And I think Styx has something to do with it now.
Probably.
Or it could be a red herring. But I'm on the bandwagon, right? Is she now with Styx because she's in shadow and they can't see her? Is there a grandfather?
I don't know.
Grandfather of shadows.
Why would the grandfather matter?
Well, because if Styx doesn't have her, maybe Grandpa has her.
But do gods... Never mind. Do gods have parents?
I don't know. I don't have any answers.
Who created
I have no idea. Who created you? That's a very big question that we don't have the answer to. But either way, again, I'm now questioning everything, right? So Everlane is currently in shadow. Even Adina cannot see her, and that's a big red flag to me. I don't have an answer for it, but it's a red flag. So I think that might come back up in book 3. Okay. So Ceres is directed to go to the library per Adina, but originally you're like, which library, right? So we assume the one in Kalish, and I think that was everybody's original thought as well, because she is to find a blue book with a butterfly on it, and it is hidden among the stars, hundreds and hundreds of stars. And I missed this the first time.
Me too.
Which is frustrating to me, right?
Because I miss everything the first time. Yeah.
I missed some things, and that's cool. I was having a good time reading the book the first time. So, and this is why we do rereads, so that way we can catch all the things, right? So, hidden among the stars, hundreds and hundreds of stars. And I wonder what it would have been if we would have caught this the first time. I'm glad that I didn't, I think, because then I think it would have ruined a good couple of chapters for me. So I'm glad that I did not catch it.
Yeah. I feel like you would have skipped ahead.
Probably.
You'd have been like,
I'm going to the pages.
Wait, do they mention it next? Yeah. It made me think of because it talked about, like, under the stars. And it made me think, So then I was like, And then I forgot that I was reading Quicksilver for a minute and not ACOTAR, so.
LOL.
See, I just read for the vibes. I was like, yes, I love the Night Court, man.
Yes. So, Adina also asks, they told you about the rod. So she's speaking about the gods, in my opinion, right? Because we know that Zareth told her about the rot and what was to come. So, and she said that in a clear voice. And she said, they told you it would come. It's here now. You must find the book in order to stop it. Without it, the decay will spread until it swallows this realm and millions more with it. I have seen it, Ceres. Find the book. Stop the spread. It's the only way. Which, which makes me debunk your theory of that Adina started the rot. I think she would have been honest. I think she would have said, I spread the rot, I started the rot, or whatever. You have to stop it.
That's fair.
And also, again, as we know, Kingfisher is not to know about this book at all. And she says, at the end, make sure he knows that I'd do it all again. She's like laying on some big ass quotes. So Adina says, make sure in the end he knows that I do it all again. And I think that comment runs pretty deep, right? Because again, she knew everything that was going to happen. And we know about her death, but I don't think we know everything about her death. And I think in book 3, we're going to learn a lot more about Adina.
Yeah, I agree.
All I want for Christmas is bonus chapters from Adina's POV.
That's fair. What if it's like flashbacks from Adina and it shows her time with Styx? Because that's a love story I need to know.
%.
How'd that happen?
Give us this love story.
How'd that happen? Make it a little novella.
How you meet God.
Okay?
I have a lot of theories about Adina too, and the gods and all that good stuff that we will get into.
Yeah.
So Adina is pissed that Ceres did not seal her runes, which is interesting because she should have known that, right?
That's what I'm saying. If she sees did she see this happening and expect her runes to already be sealed? But then also, if she saw this, why would she think that they should be sealed if she knows that they're not going to be?
Well,
either way, I feel like she should have known. So why is she so upset about it? Is she mad because it should have been happening already?
Okay, so in book 1, when Kingfisher is talking about his mom, and he says she knows a lot, but sometimes she is wrong. So he does say that she's not perfect, right? And when, I'm just thinking of this right now in the moment, when she was drawing Ceres, she always drew Ceres as Fae. She never drew her as human, right? And then the gods intervened.
True.
Which Adina did not see coming. So I wonder if when Adina was seeing this, if she saw it as Ceres was Fae and Ceres sealed her runes. And then she was like, well, this is not part of my premonition. What are you doing? Why is this wrong?
Can she see her as Fae and not as human because the gods intervened? Can she not see what the gods do? Like, can Adina not see if the gods change something in the timeline? So was she just seeing her as Fae because she was seeing it past that happening?
I don't know. I think that's a good question. Because when she's doing the drawings, they all are Fae. And then it really doesn't tell us what she's thinking when she's writing this book that she wants Ceres to find.
Right.
But either way, it doesn't, I guess the facts that we so far have in the book don't matter if she's human or Fae.
Yeah.
Because she still has to take the same steps.
Right. I'm just wondering if she can see if the gods intervene.
I don't think that she can. Because I think then she would have drawn her as human, right? And she would have known about the change coming and her turn to Fae.
That's what I'm saying.
So I don't think that she did. I don't think that she can see that far.
Right.
Or if that comment is, well, sometimes my mom is wrong, maybe that is when the gods change things. That's the time that she can't see. Or she did see and it's wrong because the gods were like, JK, LOL, change that, scratch that, typo.
Yeah.
Side note. You know what I mean? So maybe that is the only time that Adina can't see and Adina is incorrect in her seeings.
Right.
So after Ceres' runes stop literally melting her skin, Fisher walks in and he's like, why are you talking to my mom? Then the chapter's over.
That's it.
I think I knew that Adina would show up sometime in this book. It wasn't what I thought exactly, because I had the big theory of like Onyx is actually Adina. I think they are very connected still, and I still stand on that theory. And the reason why that I still think that they're super connected, so at some point in this story, it talks about when Adina was around in Kalish that she would go to the forge, and who was waiting for Ceres in the forge? Onyx. I think they at least have to have a connection. Something has to be there.
All I'm saying is Onyx better be pretty important or have some kind of crazy connection to something and not just be a fox for events that happen later in this book. And there are quite a few people...
He can't be just a fox.
There are quite a few people that have read this book and are very upset and are like...
At what?
They're upset either one of the times we thought somebody was going to die. They don't, right? They're all like, let me feel something, bro. Why'd you save them all? Like, did all these people really need to be saved? Like, could one of them? Like, I think that would have been more impactful to the story. So there's some people that are upset about that. And I think the people that are upset that maybe Onyx does come back is because they think he's just a fox. And then there's the other half that are like, man, he better be extremely important for you to have done that. Because what if you need that later on? Like, was that the right choice you made?
Okay, here's my thoughts.
There's a big like argument, disagreement, conversation, whatever you want to call it, on Book Talk about this right now.
Okay, you know what I want? I love Book Talk. I love that community. I love those people. I think that we have formed some very amazing friendship off of that. However, what I do think is that there are people on Book Talk that find enjoyment on hating and arguing over specifically Callie Hart's book, specifically Quicksilver and Brimstone, right?
Well,
we're going to argue about the cover. We don't like it. We're going to argue about his name. We don't like it. She's going to change it. We're going to argue that she changed it. We don't like it. His name changes. We're going to argue that as well. Like, leave this woman alone. No matter what she writes. She could have wrote that both of them died, and people would still be upset, right?
Yes.
And I get it. I'm not saying I disagree or agree.
I'm telling you right. all the opinions that are out there right now, because there's a million different opinions and theories and ideas on this book, especially with Brimstone coming out. Because the first one, you know, you're kind of like, Brimstone takes a real turn. Right. It's a lot of world building. It's a lot of, like, explanation for things. And, you know, that's something else that people are upset about. You read the first one, there's a lot of romance. It's very focused on the relationship. Book 2 dives into a lot of world building and setting us up for what's going to happen and giving us, like, lore of everything. And some people are like, I thought I was reading a romantasy book. This book leans more towards fantasy. It leans more towards,
this book was
historic.
Spicy as fuck.
It is spicier than the first one, but it's not focused around their relationship. You know, it's focused around
that. I liked that they didn't have to go through more turmoil in their relationship.
You like fantasy. You like more fantasy-based books. Do I? I tend not to lean that way. I tend to like the books that are more just la 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 relationship based, like Quicksilver. Yeah. So then there's all these things coming in where people are like, well, what about this, and what about this, and what about this? I think this book took a lot of people by surprise in lots of different ways. And
I think that she told us that it would.
Yeah. I mean, I think that was her intention. Like, that was her intention. Yeah. So
And she's had this book planned in her mind for years.
Listen, that just means she's an incredible author. If people can talk and argue this much about her books and small things in her books, that she's making an impact one way or the other.
Yeah, right. For sure. And it's so weird. It's a weird phenomenon that people love to just argue about this series specifically. You know, there's other series that I could argue. That we're not picking on. And I'm not saying that we should pick another apart. Like, that's not, I don't think that is correct. But it's just interesting that this is the one series that Book Talk chose. Yeah. To pick apart. Yep. It's so weird. And again, no matter what Callie decides to do, no matter what direction, people are still mad about it. Right? So I don't know. I think that she should have killed Onyx. Absolutely not. I think that fox is very important. I will stand on that ground. I will die on that hill.
I think he has to be important if she was going to have this happen. But there are some other points in the book that I was like, I think maybe we could have lost this person or this character, and it would have been a little more impactful. Yeah. And maybe it wouldn't have mattered.
Because of my Crescent City trauma, I could not lose another fire sprite. So I personally...
But could we have lost Archer and everything still continue? Yeah.
No, I would have been really upset.
I know you would have been upset.
Did I think somebody important would die in this book? Yes. I did think somebody would die. I did prepare myself for it. Right. And I would like to know maybe there's a point. Right? Maybe in book 3, there's a point that both of them had to survive. Maybe Archer needs to sacrifice himself.
She's going to kill half the people.
She's going to kill all the fire sprites. The fire sprites are going to sacrifice themselves.
I feel like since nobody important died in this book, she is saving all of that terrible death for book 3. Just like finale. The end of Throne of Glass, when you're like, destruction!
Mm-hmm. Yes. You know, you're not wrong. That's very possible. I still don't know how she's going to pack all of this into one more book. There's 2 other books coming for side characters.
There's not. There's
one is Carrie, and we don't know.
Yeah. Go ahead.
One is Carrion, and one is another side character that we don't know. I have my guesses, but I have no facts.
And there's going to be a holiday novella about Adina and Styx.
I love novellas. Yes, Adina and Styx holiday novella. Merry Christmas to all, and to all a good night. All right, chapter 10, Rot. So, Fisher went from being super broody to a mother hen, and Ceres is still keeping secrets from him. The rot is spreading and taking over all of Evelia with it. However, secrets are being spilled to the crew about Ceres' trip to the tapestry of the universe with the gods. No one wishes a happy birthday to Ceres since she's been 25 for some time now. But we do learn more about the old men that are surrounding her. We also learned about a secret library across the land that we are not allowed to enter because who the heck knows why? Probably death, but we want to go there anyways. It's a wild chapter.
It is.
We know that Adina made Ceres' runes burn her soul. Yes, Adina is somewhere in the great beyond, but she's not though, right? And I can't help but think that Adina is more than just an oracle.
Well, at this point,
that's all we know, right? Is that she was Fisher's mom, Neverland's mom, and an oracle.
At this point, she still is within their realm, right? Because she's somewhat tied.
Yeah, she's like there, but she's not there.
Yeah, she's tied. So she's just hanging out in the background.
So there was a comment that happened in this chapter. It said it was like when her runes were glowing and burning her. It said, fire and was unmaking me. That caught my eye because we know that she is considered made right now, right? Because Tau is her maker. She is made. And the river that was flowing through her was unmaking her. And I don't know where that comment's going. It just caught my eye. It was a red flag for me.
Was Adina, right? Because you said she made the runes burn her soul. Was she trying to unmake her from being a vampire?
Maybe.
I don't know. There's a lot of unanswered things in here that keep popping up in my brain that I'm like, yeah.
Yes. So we are finally getting back to Ishabel, which is like the witch, right? So
I love
she
witches.
is from Nevercross. I know, me too. She's from Nevercross, which is a city unlike any other, where the witches hold their political seat. They teach their children there. They heal the sick there. And there is ancient history in the catacombs below it. Catacombs. Where the dead are.
I'm reading one of my comments right now. And this is also from when I read the book the first time. So obviously we know that Ren and Lorreth are in here having the conversation. But all I wrote was Ren and Lorreth at the same damn time. You know, the song is like, at the same damn time, at the same damn. Anyways, so I don't know what they did that I was like, yes.
When I read that comment, I thought, because there's a little asterisk next to it, I immediately went, why shoes?
That would also be great. You know, throw Carrie in the mix
and
Tau.
Damn time.
At this point, just make
them all together. Another holiday novella.
Yeah. So, Ishabel is there, right? They're talking about all the things that the witches do and kind of what their city Nevercross is like. At one point, Carrion jumps in with his funny little comments where he's like you found religion, and Lorreth at the same time is popping off on religion, okay? Because he's like,
yeah,
how are you guys right? I hate witches, blah blah blah. How you He pops off, okay? And my question, how can all the gods be in the universe at the same time, right? Because the witches have their own gods that they follow. And Aerith mentions, not those gods, the gods that I follow. How can all these gods exist at the same time? Or are they all the same god and they all have different names for them? Again, this is where my theory of real life religion comes in, where I'm like, are we all talking about the same overall power in different ways? But in this book, physically, how? How do they all control power right now?
Here's my thoughts. So you have the 7 gods, right? You have Styx and Zareth, Balmith, and all that good stuff, right?
Yep.
And then the demon gods keep getting mentioned. And then you have the Balquitter gods, right? And I think they're different because they whisper to them and tell them whether or not to do certain things that may save or cause destruction. I think that the demon gods and the Balquitter gods are one and the same. I think they're called the demon gods because they are not one of the 7 that are hailed by, like, Yvelia, right? Mm-hmm. But I think that, because the witches don't really believe in the Yvelian gods. They say that they are a metaphor. We know that they are not a metaphor, obviously, because Sarah and Kingfisher have been there, and she knows that now. But she fully, like Ishmael fully believes in her gods, and they tell her what to do.
Right.
So I think that either there's a third entity, or they are one and the same.
Or, yeah, I guess that, yeah. Just how can they all exist at the same time and all affect the universe at the same time?
I think that they are the demon gods. But I think that maybe they're misunderstood.
Yes, right. Yeah.
And they're all gods of different things, right?
Right. She also mentions that in Nevercross, they don't go down to the catacombs. Like, even the witches are like, there's a lot of ancient history and there's a lot of things down there, but we don't go there. Like, you have to be crazy to go down there. One, I want to know all the tea that is under that city in those catacombs.
Oh, yes.
Okay? I would like
to go
there to be a show.
Theory for book 3, they go to the catacombs.
I would like there to be a show, like Ghost Adventures, and it's a witch being like, come with me, let's go check out the catacombs. And then we just see all the crazy shit that happens down there. They have their little spirit box, and they're like, waiting for the gods to whisper.
Yes, I was in and she opens the door. Well, hey, I'm TP Cribs. These are my catacombs. Let's go.
I'd watch that show.
Yes,
man. Okay.
That's so wild. Yes, the Balquitter gods are essentially elemental spirits who whisper in the witches' ears, and it says ones who tell you whether you should prevent or commit atrocities for the quote unquote greater good. Because Laura says it in a funny voice. And she says, our deities are not myths, LORRETH. They've always been there, and their will cannot be questioned. If we don't obey them, the consequences. Which is why I lean more towards demon gods.
I can see that.
Because of the consequence part that she says.
Yeah.
That's my theory. I think they're one and the same. So, we then move on to ages, right? We learned that Carrion is 1,096 years old, okay? Kingfisher was 10 and LORRETH was 13 when the Dianthus heir went missing. It does not mean he is not the Dianthus heir. He still is, but Kingfisher also has a theory. I love a man with theories. So, yes, Kingfisher has a theory on why he is not the same age as them. He was taken by the gods, and when he went through the Quicksilver as a child, the time is different in the tapestry, right? When Fisher met Bal and Mithrin over 1,000 years ago during the Aegean War, he admits that he saw Zareth talking to, like, Zareth and Sareth. Oh my god. Sareth and Zareth.
Are they the same person? Theory for book 3.
Sareth and Zareth, which was technically only a few weeks ago that actually happened. So we know that time is weird in the tapestry. So
timey-wimey.
He says, I didn't know your name, I didn't see your face, but I knew Osha. My soul recognized a flicker of itself burning inside someone else, and it knew. And he says, when my father fled the Dianthus heir, one or more of the gods must have delayed their escape. At least their destination, anyways. Time continued here in Yvelia, but in Zilvarin, I believe it stood still. Carrion has no idea. He's like, I don't remember any of this. He's like, I don't even remember your dad, Fisher. And he says, I barely remember my father either, and I don't pretend to know anything of plans made by gods. All we can do is make our own hope for the best. Was this him telling us? I'm going to read it again. I barely remember my father either, and I don't pretend to know anything of plans made by gods. Am I overreading that, or was that him being like, my dad is a god?
No, because when I reread this, right, here we are talking about Kingfisher's father, okay? Who the fuck was that man then?
Right, like, Finrin. Like, who are you?
Who is that man that took Carrion on this adventure and did this stuff? Who is that man?
That nobody
remembers. Because Kingfisher knows.
Kingfisher
knows his daddy is Styx. He knows.
Right.
Right?
Yes.
So, who is this other man? Does Kingfisher know who this other man is? Or is that a mystery to him? And why is he still calling this other man his father when he knows who his father is?
I don't know. That's such a question.
I got fucking questions. Real quick, though. I have this other theory that I'm going to let cook for a little bit, but I'm going to insert it now so that it's in your brain.
Okay.
I'm not ready. Really. It's not. I shouldn't say it's a theory. So, one thing that Callie Hart said about this book is that inconsistencies are on purpose. Okay, so let me just pull up my notes real quick, right? They said Carrion is 1,000, right, and 96 years old. Kingfisher was 10, LORRETH was 13, right, when they went missing. Yes. And the only explanation Kingfisher has is that when they went through that Quicksilver, something with time happened, okay? Along with this,
one or more of the gods.
Right. Everlane is, I'm just putting this out here, just so this cooks in your brain. Everlane is 247 years younger than Kingfisher. Okay? Okay. I want you to remember that.
Yes.
That there's almost 250 years between Kingfisher and Everlane being born, right? That's what we were told. Okay.
Yes.
We got some wibbly wobbly, timey-wimey, weird stuff going on. Doctor Who reference right there. But
okay. Right. All right.
The ages, they don't add up. And we see that with Carrion. But later on, I'm going to bring this back up again. And they don't mention it. Like, they don't mention it. They don't talk about it. It's not like, oh, Kingfisher's like, oh yeah, it's the Quicksilver. It's the gods again, playing with that time. This is an unanswered inconsistency that I have that I need to know, and I'm wondering if Callie did it on purpose.
Okay, but we're not answering it now.
I could. Do you want me to pull it up? I can answer it. I can't answer it.
Tell me a little bit, because I don't think I have enough to, like, really set a thought into it. I'm not finding the inconsistency that you're talking about. So I need to know the inconsistency, and then we can
I haven't told you the inconsistency yet. I'm just telling you.
Right.
Carrion's,
so I'm like, I don't know.
These are just Carrion's timeline, Carrion's age is an inconsistency, okay? There is one for Everlane as well. This is like way ahead, all right? So Everlane is 247 years younger than Kingfisher. That's how old their age difference is that they said in book 1. In chapter 50 of this book, Fisher says that he's 11 years old when he becomes oathbound to Belicon. Okay?
Because that's when his mom died.
Right. He said his mom has been dead a week. If his mom died when he was 11 years old, how is Everlane 247 years younger than him? Shouldn't they only be 11 years apart?
Hold on. I have to look this up. Hold on.
I have a whole list of inconsistencies. Yeah, okay. So in Quicksilver, we are told that Lane is 1,486 years old. Fisher is 1,733 years old. And Carrion is 1,095 years old. So those are the ages that we are told, right? So that's 247 years difference between Fisher and Lane.
Okay, hold on. I'm on it right now in Quicksilver. I was born.
She should be 1486.
I was born at the very beginning of the 10th age. I've been alive for 1,486 years.
Yep, and Kingfisher is 1,733. So that's 247 years between them. That's 200.
Okay, here's my thought, though. Here's where I think I might have a solution to your inconsistency. When he was 11, Mom died, right? Everlane supposedly was already born because the fact that we have so far is that Everlane and Adina and Belicon made Everlane, right? He is then pushed into the icky Quicksilver, not the regular Quicksilver, the icky one, right? Did time stop there? Know that the gods interfered. But is that why?
But at that point, his mom has been dead for a week already.
Right.
She's already dead. So if you're thinking he gets pushed Everlane into the gate, time freezes.
In his realm.
Oh,
where he is inside the Quicksilver, not in Yvelia. I see what you're
saying. That she's already alive. I see what you're saying.
She's just a baby.
Yeah, and he
then goes into the portal
time travels.
For an hour or so?
Yeah.
Yes, the gods intervene there,
and when he comes
because
back out,
and that's why the Quicksilver is in his eye.
And when he comes back out, it's 300
years and years later.
250 years later.
Yes.
See? Wibbly wobbly, timey wimey. Some weird shit going on in here.
Wibbly wobbly.
That's from Doctor Who. Dr. Tin, in case you're wondering. But yeah.
That's silly. I don't know who that is. Yeah. That would be my guess. To make the timeline make sense.
There's another one. See? That's 2.
Okay, throw it at me.
No, I'm just saying that's 2. Carrion and Everlane.
Oh, yes. Yeah.
She's doing it on purpose. And she better explain it the next book. Right. Yeah. But still.
But that's how I think that he knows that's what the gods did, is because when he was in the icky Quicksilver, time stopped for him as well. I think when he came out, he was like, hello, 247-year-old girl, that is my sister. And that's how I think he has his facts.
I need him to confirm that.
Yes, he has not confirmed nor denied this, but I need to know. Yes, agreed.
Right.
So, going back to it, we know that there's a possible mass evacuation of Yvellia if the rot keeps spreading. The rot is already jumping from realm to realm. But again, how? Who is sending it? It came to Yvellia through a portal from Zilvarin. Is Zilvarin infected? Is Zilvarin rotting? How is it that it's coming from Zilvarin, but when the boys go to Zilvarin, nothing is rotting? There's no evidence of rot there.
Or is there?
They didn't say any.
Right. But it could
be.
Is it under in the nasty, what is that?
They went through the sewers, right? They went underneath through Carrion's, like, portals.
I wonder if this has to do with the water. Gosh, my brain just can't stop thinking now. So, right? Because the water is supposed to be, like, all important.
It's dirty.
And they talk about it being, dirty. Is it coming from the water? It's in the water.
I don't... If that was the case, wouldn't Kingfisher
Is she brewing it in the water? I don't know.
Maybe. The cauldron, boil and bubble. Stirring it. So, if there's an evacuation, right, so many relics have to be made. Over 15,000 relics. So, they don't have enough silver for that. So, to Zilvarin, they must go, right? Find silver, see where the feeders came from, and finally bring back Hayden for real.
Hayden. But can
Fame.
Can she even make 15,000 relics on her own? How much time is that going to take her? Is she going to be able to make that much in that amount of time that they need it?
I don't know.
That's a lot.
I mean, a lot of them will die before then anyway, so really it's like less, right?
Yeah, it's true. That's true.
You have to accommodate for the warriors that will then be taken by the rot and not make it through the portal.
That's true.
So,
all right.
Theories that came to fruition from Quicksilver is that there are witches, for real. Not as many as I had hoped for, but there are witches. So I want that on record. Okay. I think we went over a lot of the theories, but I, again, think Adina is something else. Is she a god herself? Is she a witch? I think she is more than just an oracle. For sure.
Which leads into...
here's another thing that I have. Yes. Yeah. Kingfisher is either A, demigod, which is god dad and fae mom. Or B, he is full god because both of his parents are actually gods themselves, right?
I'm leaning more towards
I don't know. I'm 50-50. It depends what Adina is.
Yeah.
Right? I think Adina maybe is a really powerful witch, and I have thoughts that are going to trail through the witch part as well. Yes. Which tells me that maybe she is a powerful witch instead of a god, and there is like a cross connection between her and Styx with that realm.
Right.
So, in book 3, I think they will have to go to Nevercross to go to the catacombs to find the information. She did say no one but a guild witch is allowed down there or should experience what is down there. You can, however, petition for access. So there is an opportunity for them to petition for access. So I think that will happen.
I think, my theory, along with that, right, I think we're going to need the witches, Carrion on the throne in his full power, okay, Cerys in her full power, and some deal or something with Kingfisher and his dad, Styx, to save this world from the rot. I think we're going to need all those entities together, or it's not going to happen.
I like it.
Yeah.
That was such a good chapter. Chapter 11, Fool's Paradise.
So, the boys are back in town. The boys are back in town. Cerys and LORRETH bond over throwing a pity party for themselves because they feel left out. LORRETH takes a vampire's hand instead of paying for his debt, and Daddy Tal has to save the day, per usual.
Thanks, Daddy.
Gosh, I love that man. Anyways.
So, yes, the boys are going to Zilvarin, Carrion, and Kingfisher, and in 3 days' time, Cerys will open the pool back up in Amontreath that they now have. Fisher left a shadow gate open from Amontreath to Kalish with a sigil painted with his blood. Now, this is the first time that he does this, or that we know of that he does this, where he paints a sigil and it just leaves the portal open, which I thought was really interesting and a new set of magic or a new type of or extension of his portal magic. Or is it his god magic? is another question I have.
I don't know.
We've never seen anyone else paint a sigil to do anything.
I remember reading this and being like,
twice in this book.
That's kind of cool. He can just leave the door cracked open.
Times.
That's so weird. But we never cared to use this before.
So,
but okay.
Yeah, it's interesting. It's like it just dropped in there. And I'm like, oh, a piece of candy. Like, what is this? Crumb of information. So Sarah still mentions that the floor is made of obsidian. I really, really thought that obsidian would be more important than it is for how many times it was mentioned in book 1. It's mentioned 3. A lot in book 2 as well. Obsidian.
Book 3.
I guess it's not important. I don't know. But I was like, why are we saying it so much and describing it in such detail if it's not important?
Maybe it's book 3.
I don't know. So Ceres is upset. Maybe. Ceres is upset that she didn't go with them. But she is reminded that her OG home has 2 sons. So she literally can't go there. Right?
Pass away.
Well, she'd be really, she's like, I could wear a hood. And Loreth's like, okay, I guess. However, if she were to leave the court, which she physically is allowed to, however, they would see it as like abandonment of the throne. And they would like riot and someone would take over. So Lorreth is upset also that he is not with either Fisher and Carrion, Renfis, who is currently warning the Galarians about the Rot, or Daniel, who is orchestrating efforts to keep the infected at bay. So he's not with anybody on their journeys. However, we learn that Fisher made Lorreth promise he would stay back and watch over Ceres and protect her.
It's a little sexist, but it's fine.
How do you feel about that? Just a little bit. But I love
Lorreth. Right. I love Lorreth, okay? I would want that man to watch over me 24/7. I'd be like, yes. You better promise you're with me forever, sir.
I got you some binoculars.
But the thing is, Tal is there, right? There's other people that could, I mean, I guess Tal. Tal is the other person that could stay there and watch her, because he has to stay there, right? He's within the court. So,
yes.
I feel a little bad. I guess I just feel bad for Lorreth, that he's always the one that gets, like, left out of adventures. He has, like, FOMO.
He does have a little FOMO.
Yeah, and sure. I think it's a little rude that Fisher's like, you have to promise. Like, why would he bind him to that? That part's a little sexist. Why can't you just be like, hey, can you watch her?
I think that Ceres has not slept, right?
Yeah.
Ceres is, like, on edge. And then Tal is there, yes. However, Tal doesn't always come to her defense. And if he does, he's a little late.
Yeah.
Right? And he has other courtly things to do. And he also doesn't want to show favoritism and have the other lords think that he is, like, doing something that is just for this new queen. So I think that he does have limits. And I think Lorreth does not. Lorreth has free reign to do whatever the fuck he wants. Deal with consequences later. So if I were Kingfisher, I would have probably also asked Lorreth to do that. I'm not going to ask Danya, obviously.
Asking is different. But he didn't ask him.
Right?
But he didn't ask them. He made him promise, which means he is oath-bound to that.
He is oath-bound. Yeah.
A little sneaky.
I don't know.
A little
that
sneaky,
it was the
Fisher.
Right choice.
Little sneaky.
But, yeah. On a side note, okay. Quotes. I mean, who doesn't love a blood-soaked orgy? Hello? And he says, and Sereth is like, I don't know, I never did that. And she goes, he's like, you're not missing much. Honestly, they get sticky.
Coming from the man who literally would not talk about dosing in public. How does this man go from being like, we can't discuss these things, we can't talk about it, and then he's like,
whatever, blood-soaked orgies. My God. I need to know. I need bonus chapters of Lorreth in a blood-soaked orgy. I need it. I need it like I need water.
I love Lorreth.
My cheeks got so red when I was reading that. I was like, Lorreth, who are you? Yes.
I love him.
I did not expect that from him. You know what I mean?
No. From Tal? Yes. From Lorreth?
And then instead of asking Sarah's fame, she goes, my shoulder. I was like, bitch, we're gonna skip over this?
She's like, it's whatever. It's because she's
hurts.
not interested
your
in him.
Your shoulder's fine, Ceres. I am interested. I needed to know.
I wonder if Carrion would have said something like that, if she would have made a comment.
Oh, she would have.
She
did before with the sprites.
Right.
Water sprites.
So
she was like, my shoulder. Girl.
Whatever.
Callie.
Anyways.
Why you do this to us?
Anyways.
So, they change the subject, unfortunately. So, Laura tells Cerys about the story of Adjin and Morel, right? Because I guess everybody knew. I thought the entire time that the guys did not know. But I guess they did know. So I thought, like, eventually Ren would find out and there'd be, like, this emotional, like, play out of it, but he already knew. So in Amentraeth, we know there are lots of high bloods and feeders, but there are also fae in a thrall, because everybody has to eat. It's very interesting.
What a fucking weird thing, okay? It gives me Hollywood vibes, right? It's almost like...
Yes.
The Diddy stuff going on. These very rich fae, or these high fae that want to be like so cool.
So cool.
And taboo. And they just go and indulge in a really disgusting lifestyle with like some nasty people that are gonna like drink their blood. And they think they're cool for it. Like they're choosing
Everybody
to be there.
wants to snort cocaine off a stripper's ass.
That's not me. Not me. You do that and bad things happen. Have we not learned? Just so weird. I don't know.
It is weird. It is weird, but is it better, right, than them going and finding unwilling victims and draining them when they can have a constant supply and it's an equal trade? Yes, they're in a thrall. I get that. But it's not like they're showing up and being like, I would like to be enthralled. Please, I want to hang out with you guys. They're like, cool, your payment is blood. And they're like, all right. They're not draining them. They're just taking some.
Why? Rich high fae are weird. Hollywood, weird.
Yes. I agree with the vibes.
Yeah.
Right? And it also, speaking of weird as fuck, turns out LORRETH has a tab at the Fool's Paradise from over 600 years ago. So not only does he have a tab from 600 years ago, before Tal owned the bar, he also was in Bloodsoak orgies. How much time did this man spend in Amentraeth?
Good question. I didn't think about that.
Here's a theory. I think that other novella is about LORRETH.
But she said it's about somebody we haven't met yet.
Did she? Or she said we just don't know who it is yet. Like, we don't know who the other novella is about.
Oh,
I thought the other book is about.
I thought you said that it was about somebody we haven't met yet. Not that
I don't think so.
She just hasn't told us. Okay, got it. I'm with you now.
Now I'm going to look back at it. I don't think so. I think one is about Carrion.
Yeah.
And one is about somebody else. And I think it's LORRETH. Because there is a lot of little details about him that you're like, what?
Yeah, before he joined.
You were where?
Yeah.
You did what? With who? Yes, exactly. So, then he commits another crime immediately by having his sword with him, which is technically considered high treason. But because he is LORRETH of the Broken Spire and not a fae enthralled, he is not welcomed there at this bar. A vampire touches him on the shoulder, and LORRETH took his goddamn hand. Yes, and then shoved it in his mouth. Then Tal shows up, right?
Ugh, daddy.
He calls LORRETH Lore. He's like, Lore. And I was like, I can't. It's so cute. I want to call him Lore. Wait there, Lore. You're covered in blood and not fit for polite company.
Gosh, I just love them both so much. I would simply pass away if I was Cerys watching this unfold right now. I don't understand how she's just like, this is normal.
She's just chilling, man.
I don't understand.
I wonder where Kingfisher is.
Yeah.
And LORRETH's over here like, bloods of orgies. I want them all.
Oh my god.
I can't. So, turns out that Tal now owns this bar, and LORRETH owes 8,000 krona for a bottle of wine and a broken table because of fucking compound interest. What? He's like,
wild.
Yeah, compound interest. Okay. And Tal had the same reaction. He was like, what?
8,000?
Are you that dumb? No. Insane. So yeah, honestly, Tal owns a bar. Good for you, Tal.
Not surprised.
No.
Why am I not surprised? I'm like, of course he owns the bar. Typical Tal behavior.
And he scratches it out. He's like, you're good, bro.
Yeah.
Give this motherfucker a bottle of wine. Like,
yeah.
And then he like takes Cerys. He's like, we're going to talk to someone else. All right. So chapter 12 is named Tal. So Papa Taladeus is upset because the court is in a ruckus and other lords need to replace the one that Fisher casually killed off at the coronation. Cerys is literally catching on fire, but since she is glowing like a firework, Tal can see it clear as day. He asks her ever so politely to sever the bond between maker and child, but clarifies that it needs to be a spectacle for the theatrics. It's a good chapter.
It is a good chapter.
So, as we know, Ceres's runes are literally lighting on fire, and she has to try really hard to lie to Tal about it. However, she cannot because a blue aura comes off of her when she does, and he is her maker. And also, he can feel her pain. So he's like, cool, like you're glowing like a fucking lightsaber, and also I can feel what you're feeling.
I mean, okay, so one, I think it's really funny that she's like trying so hard and she looks like a glow stick to him. But also,
Yes,
there are so many different ways that you cannot lie in this book. So many different ways.
It is
right? They have like the
honesty.
oaths. Yes, they have like the oaths. Faye just can't lie in general in this. Maker and child,
Wild.
you can't lie. Like, she really thought through everything. She's
Yeah,
like,
it's
nobody's
insane.
lying. Nobody's lying.
All honesty.
Absolutely not.
Yes. So Ceres then obviously tells Tal about the conversation between Adina and her. And he kind of clarifies it a little bit, right? He's like, we have shades, which are echoes, trapped memories a person leaves behind, signaling a horrific death, but the soul moves on, right? Since Adina was having a full-on real conversation, her soul is still on this actual plane.
Right.
So, and as far as Tal knows, she never gave a piece of her soul to anyone, so she must have stayed by sheer force of will, which would have tortured a person. However, as far as Tal knows, she never gave a piece of her soul to anybody.
Right.
I think she did. I think that right there tells us she did.
Does she have to give her piece of her soul to a physical person? Or is it because she is attached to the Stargazers?
I don't think she's attached to the Stargazers. I think that was part of her magic, and that I'm going to go into that, and as far as like the witchy stuff as well, of why I think that's connected.
Okay.
I think that's like leftover magic from before she was killed. But I think she did give a piece of her soul to somebody that is still alive to this day.
Styx?
I think we were meant to... I don't think it was Styx.
Who do you think it is?
I don't know if you could do that to a god. Maybe Everlane?
Ugh.
Maybe Bellicon tried to kill her when she was born. And instead of...
You know
and
what?
she gave a piece of her soul to her, and then Bellicon killed her instead.
That would make sense, unfortunately. I just have a weird ick about
But
Everlane ever since we had that interview with
I know. I'm trying not to.
I can't get it out of my head.
I know. But either way, even if she's good or bad in this moment today, right, when she was just a baby, if Adina actually ended up sacrificing her life for Everlane's.
Right. Possibility.
Just a thought. So, Fisher supposedly knew all of this information when Ceres told him about about it, but his emotions were neutral, which is another reason why I think that she did give a piece of her soul to somebody. And I think he knows it.
Probably.
Or figured it out.
Yeah.
Right? I think he was like, I think the gears were turning in his brain, and he was like, I see. Here's who I think that she gave her soul to. Fisher's dad, whichever dad, whether it was Styx or whether it was Finran, taught him how to do that type of magic before he could save LORRETH.
That's true, yeah.
So I don't know. So Adina knew how to do it as well, right? So he says, and then we know, it says, well, the way your runes smoldered would indicate that you have access to elemental fire magic. Once harnessed, that will be incredibly useful. No? And the fact that your hands are healed now after the damage I just witnessed implies that you also have regenerative magic, physical magic, power over the body. At some point, you might be able to heal others with your abilities. Yet another thread that connects you to your alchemist heritage.
Bruh, is she just gonna be like this all-powerful being? Is she just gonna have every single type of fucking magic?
Oh, except for shadows. No shadows.
I'm sure at some point they're gonna have this wedding or something, and she's gonna end up having shadows. Yeah, like, I bet you.
Yes. I love it. So, I have another theory later on as well, but I want it to be remembered, the alchemist heritage. I want that line specifically to be remembered for when we go back into that theory.
Okay.
About Ceres and her dad. Her dad specifically. Yes. So we know that Tal has sired two people, Ceres and one before her, which we obviously know is Foley, right?
I want to know
Yes.
how Tal and Foley, like, their connection.
What do you mean?
Because he has his connection with Ceres, right? Because he sired her. He sired Foley. So what is their connection to each other like?
So there's no connection there anymore, because later on in the book it does tell us that he disavowed him, like he wants to do with Ceres, like publicly was like, I denounce you.
That's right. That's right.
And then he is shunned because he doesn't bow to the throne, which is why they rip out his teeth.
Yes, I do remember that
no
part,
bond there anymore.
I forgot that he said that he did that with him. Thank you. I was like, how is their connection working?
Yeah. No, there's no connection there anymore. Tal does not want to hold any power over Fisher or his mate, and he does not want the other lords thinking he is making her change anything within the court, right? So he asks if he can publicly disavow her and sever the bond, which she obviously doesn't mind. However, it does need to be a full spectacle.
This makes sense to me, okay, before we know what happens. When I read this, I was like, this totally makes sense, because Malcolm did this for years to show, like, those that he sired or those that he has are his lapdogs, right? He is in control of them. They are his. They're his children. For Tal, both the people that he sired were not for that same reason. He didn't want them for control. He didn't want them in general as his children. He didn't want to sire any of them. He did it to save both of them. So I feel like, is this whole thing of they're your sired, right? You control them, you do this. Is that just a cultural thing for them then? Because that's how Malcolm made the culture seem? Or do they really have the ability to kind of control them through the bond? Do you get what I'm asking?
I think that he does have the ability to control through the bond. I don't think Malcolm was able to control.
So for Malcolm, it would be both then. One, he wants the court to, like, be fully in love with him, paying attention to him like he is the all-powerful, they're his lapdogs, but also he can control them with their bonds that he sired them through.
I think so. He can feel their emotions, right? So what other way, what is the easiest way to manipulate than with emotion, right? I can feel you feeling this way, so I'm going to say this. Or maybe you should do this, right? So that would be my guess. I loved this book. But the one thing that I was, like, not expecting was that the Quicksilver would not really be there.
Yeah.
If I could change one thing, it would be that. Because I thought there was so much of it in book one that, like, I expected that sassy elements the whole in book two. Or at least 3/4 of it, right? Yeah. And we didn't get that. So, like I said, I still love this book, like, but if I had to pick one thing that I was like, okay, would not have gone that route, it would be that.
That's fair.
Because we were so in depth on theories of the Quicksilver in book one. And then it just kind of, like, disappeared in book two.
It's kind of like the Quicksilver was its own character in book one, whereas now it's just an element.
Right.
Yeah. So.
Yes, correct. So, I don't know. So, the pool from Amontraeth led right back into Madras Castle, and instead of, like, 8 archers, like last time, there was a unit of them, which is an unknown number. I don't know what a unit has.
A unit.
It's a unit. There's multiple. More than 8. Fisher does not understand why Carrion's sword is named Simon. Watch Simon be the name of, like, Carrion's best friend who died, like, a tragic death or some shit. Watch it have, like, this super emotional backstory in a bonus chapter later on in life.
Probably.
I'm calling it now. I'm calling it. So they could not bring any god swords with them, right? Because if Madra got a hold of one of them, she could have used them to close the pools once again. And I have so many questions. How is Madra touching a god sword? How is Malcolm touching it? Or like Belicon, how is Belicon touching a god sword? When nobody can touch these fucking god swords.
So,
and this yes.
Here's the thing, because you mentioned that later too. Belicon cannot touch Nimarel at the end of this book, right? He said he has to wait for Kingfisher to die before he can grab that sword and take it.
Yes.
So, one, I think that once they're dead, it disconnects and you can touch the god sword. But two, I feel like you can probably touch it if you're not touching it directly with your skin, right? Because it talks about how they'll, like, use a cloth wrapped around it to, like, pick it up and move something. So as long as they're, like, there's a barrier between it, she could touch that god sword and just be like, bink.
Maybe. Did Belicon use a sword, like, with the sword with a cloth wrapped around it when he killed Carrion's father, Ruach Dianthus? Because it is known that the sword had blood over it. Maybe?
Did he wear gloves? I feel like that he had to have a barrier if he was still alive. But I don't think it's impossible for them to be able to do this.
A glove would be the barrier between a god sword.
Okay, but they use cloths to do the same thing.
No, it just feels weird though.
Feels like it shouldn't. Because they fully talk to these swords.
God sword.
Right.
Yeah, and you can't touch it unless you have a glove on. then you can.
Right, and they fully talk to these things. Like, they're human.
Correct.
So why can't the sword just be like, not you?
No.
Not you.
Oh, you have a glove on. I don't understand. I just have a lot of questions, right? Did, like, Madra use a glove for Solace when she closed the portal?
No, because his dad was dead.
How did she close the portal?
No, wait.
Was he dead?
His dad was not dead.
Is he dead? We don't know.
Anyways.
I don't know. So, Fisher mentions more magic that he has. Secondary magic. He says, I reached for my secondary magic and prayed that it answers. It was fickle and often off wandering when I called. Luck was on my side today, though. I pictured a vast net stretching across a wide street below, and the crosshatch rope began to lash and twine across the gap.
This book is just full of them pulling new magic out of their asses whenever they need it. Tell me why this didn't happen in book 1. Anytime they were in a fickle situation, that they weren't just like, magic, here you go, fixed it, safe. There's a little suspicious, Callie. I'm a little suspicious.
I don't know.
I'm a little suspicious.
So, there's, again, 3 items on the to-do list. Steal all the silver, find the infected feeders, and find Hayden to bring him home. Clue 1, that something was off magic-wise in Sylvarin in this chapter. It says, I am not Sylvarin born, Carrion. My magic isn't of this place. I can't draw it from it as freely as I would back in Yvalia. We are lucky I can draw from it at all. There are realms and worlds amid the void of this universe that are entirely barren of magic. If a seed of magic didn't still cling for purchase somewhere within the bowels of this miserable place, I'd be completely cut off from my gifts. I think that right there was like a red flag that something was going on within Sylvarin, because he was like, I'm lucky that I found this magic because it's usually off wandering. So if there wasn't really any magic to grab onto within Sylvarin, I don't feel like he should have been able to do that so easily. I know he's like, luck was on our side, but I don't know if luck is a real thing in Sylvarin or in this universe.
Right.
Truly. So I just wanted to put that out into the universe. So, Carrion says that Madra is not storing any silver in her actual treasury, but somewhere else. Someplace not even the gods themselves would be able to access. That line got me. I don't know why. It just gave me a weird vibe. But, also, no person even knows where this fucking treasury is. He spent years trying to find it, and no one knows. So, they are going to the Britain's bank instead, which Carrion owns, quote unquote. This bank, quote unquote, is a hatch in the ground where Carrion uses his first act of small magic with the inner workings of a lock. And then we are reminded that the Dianthus house possessed more magic than any other house in Yvalia. This also seemed like a red flag we missed as well, because Kingfisher is so powerful. Like, one of the most powerful. So why would he not say the Dianthus house possessed more magic than any other house in Yvalia, except for mine, except for me, except for Kingfisher? He didn't.
I don't know.
Was this an ode to the fact that he is like a demigod and or god as well?
Maybe. But also,
I don't know. I was like,
how was Carrion just using small magic in Sylvarin and never questioned it? To be like, am I Fae?
Carrion
am I special?
always knew. Carrion always knew.
No, he didn't. He was glamoured, remember?
Yes, he was glamoured. Yes, but he knew he was glamoured. He knew all the whole time. Because when they eventually later on when they go into his house, there's photos all over the walls about like his mom and his dad and Yvalia and all. He knew the whole time. Even Saris was like, "You knew and you never told me," and he's like, "I couldn't tell you." That's weird. Yeah, girl, he knew. This is not secret.
I'm done. Have a good day. My dumbass.
Don't cover your face in shame. That's so funny. Yeah.
Anyways, I just read this really whole book wrong, but it's fine.
Yes, Carrion knew about his things. That's so funny. Okay, so anyways, Sylvarin is ancient, and it was there way before Madra. It used to have a bunch of council magic users and plenty of water to go around. After Madra came, then all the walls were made, and then the wards came. This was so interesting to me, that there is a whole history from before Madra.
Yeah, who knows about this history?
I mean, no one has ever really spoken of it, right?
Right.
I think we knew in book 1 that there was, like, something before Madra, but this is the only time we've ever actually been given information that not only did there used to be a council of magic users, and that there were no walls or wards, and that also there was plenty of water to go around. Where is the water? Why? I know why Madra's doing it, but where is it being stored? Where is the water? I don't know.
Yeah, this part's a little weird.
Yes.
It's like a drop of history.
Drop of lore.
That you're supposed to just be
a
like...
a sprinkle of lore. A little Salt Bay of lore. That's going to be our next sticker. Salt Bay of lore.
I just spilled my coffee on my... Alright. We shouldn't record in the morning anymore.
I'm having a good time.
Okay. Oh, alright.
So, Carrion says, I admit, this was a whole lot less disgusting when I was glamored before, Carrion groaned. You might have changed the way I look, but I think I retained my fey sense of smell this time around. And I cannot stop thinking of the moment that I asked Callie. I was like, wait, did Carrion have his fey senses? And she, like, paused, and she goes, yes. Or no. She was like, no, he doesn't.
Yeah, because you asked if he was glamored. You were like, was he glamored the whole time? And she was like...
Well, no. Like, did he have his face senses while he was glamored? Like, was that part of the glamour?
Right. And he didn't. Mm-hmm. So now...
And he did.
It just...
And now he's glamored again, but not as much.
Shit.
Yeah.
I was waiting for this moment. I was waiting for the moment where he's just trekking around, and he's like,
God, it stinks
holy
here.
Crap. How did I live here for so long?
For real. And I wonder if she thought of this paragraph when she answered that question.
Probably.
And she was like, no. So, they make a stop at a tavern, which we are assuming is Kala's. It never says it, but I'm going to assume that it is. Mm-hmm. And they're there to meet the Vault Breaker, who will help them find the relocated treasure. Introducing, again, LORRETH Shaw. Now, this is where a theory is debunked. Because, and not one of my theories, there was a theory going around that I had put some thought into, and I was like, maybe, because LORRETH Shaw was the only character in that realm besides, like, Ceres and Hayden that had, and Carrion, that had a full name. LORRETH Shaw.
Yeah.
It wasn't just Elroy, or, like, a random person. So someone was like, this is really interesting that he has a full name. He has a full name. He must be Kingfisher's dad.
Right.
And so I was like, maybe. And then, and that he was important, right? And so then when he came up again, I was like, he is. And then he's not.
Right.
He's not.
Right. Yeah.
So.
Chapter 14.
Blood in the milk. So, overall recap for this is Ceres climbs the stairway to heaven and takes it longer than the actual song. Tal educates her on how medicine doesn't always taste good, but it's going to help her either way. The real star of this whole show is introduced, and because of Ceres being extra generous, he is going to make calls to his people all night long.
I just need you to know, before we start this, that when I read the name of this chapter, I literally gagged. Physically. I physically gagged. I was like,
you didn't think
blood in the milk.
Strawberry Nesquik?
No, sure didn't. I was like, this is going to be a nasty chapter. But then it ends up not being nasty, so it's fine.
It was not. That's so funny, though. So, as of this point, total known dead are 1,373. Total known infected are 1,665. And estimated infected landmass, 2,039 hectares. Okay, I would like it to be known that this is a new length of measure, hectares, because we have used leagues this whole time. What the fuck is a hectare?
Something with acres, but I don't know what else.
Okay, all right. A metric unit of square measure equal to 100 acres.
See? I was like, it has to do with acres. I just don't know how many acres. So, a lot of acres.
Yes. It was
2,000 times 100 acres. Yeah.
So 2,039 times 100?
Huh.
Okay, 203,900 acres. That's a lot. So that's a ton of miles, honestly. Like, that's a lot of acreage. So, also, we are now off to a library. Not the one in Kalish, but the one in Amontreath, right? Over 500 steps.
I'm not going.
I don't know if I'd be going.
I'm not.
Yeah, I don't know if I could go.
Not that important.
It is Fae tradition. So you're like, actually, I don't need to read today. So, it says, it is Fae tradition, actually. Malcolm rejected most of the old conventions when he realized what he had become. but this one he held on to. Our elders considered knowledge a sublime resource. They decided that the closer to the heavens a court's gathered knowledge could be housed, the better. There was also some consideration for the idea that the harder you had to work for the knowledge you were seeking, the more you would earn the right to benefit from it. Hence, the library being 500 steps.
Why, of all things, from like old ways, is this what Malcolm keeps? And also, how did Adina get her book into this library? Because we find out that the Stargazers are Adina's book. How did she get that book in there?
The only thing I can think of is that if you remember back in book 1, Malcolm talked about how he had an alchemist before. So I wonder if Adina and that alchemist were working together.
Okay, that makes sense. But also, like, all the things for Malcolm to keep from, like, old fae or, like, old ways. Why was he like, this is the one thing I'm gonna keep?
The library.
Is the way this library is and how you have to work for it.
It's very interesting. Yes.
Yeah.
It's very interesting. So we do get our first glimpse at the Stargazers, or little birds made of paper that live in the library in the castle, folded to represent one of Yavelia's rare breeds. They are real, though, and they lay eggs and rear their young. Someone folded mating pairs a long time ago and gave them a spark of magic well over 1,000 years ago. So this is where I wonder, right? If, let's say Adina did do that, right? Like Adina created the mating pair, 2 pages, and they then had young and like reared their young. How did it all become the book that she needed? Do you know what I mean? Like how, if it had eggs and laid its eggs and the eggs became babies and the babies grew up, did she keep adding to those, like, information to those babies on those blank pages?
Right, would she just grab them and then write on them and then put them back?
Or something. Yeah, I have a lot of questions of how those actually work.
Right. That's also where I'm like, they don't make sense. Also, though, originally...
So it does say, it says, someone folded mating pairs, plural, over a long time ago. So what if the book was already written and she folded all of those pages into mating pairs, plural, again, and then set them free, and then they had babies?
Yeah. And then that way people wouldn't think anything of them.
Right. Okay, I feel like that makes more sense. Yeah.
Yeah, probably. I 100% didn't think that these little birds mattered at all. I thought it was like Harry Potter, you know, where like they're having a big festival, so they're like floating candles. So they're like, this library needs a fancy atmosphere. Let's add some little birds.
I have never wanted to hang out more in a library, though, than when I was reading this chapter. I was like,
true.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
Like, when there's a bird stuck in a store, I'm like, I want to touch it. I want to hold it. I want to see it. Like, I wanted to be in that library so bad. So we finally get to know Algit, and she schools us with some knowledge, right? That she can basically feel Ceres at all hours of the day and night, hungering for knowledge, for home release. But she's the keeper of records and knows this library better than anyone else. So she's also as sassy as can fucking be for an old lady, right? And she says, my memory is as sharp as yours and then some, Wraith. I know exactly to whom I speak, King Killer. And she also says more, right? So she starts with Wraith. She goes King Killer, Day's End, The Last Tide, Namebreaker. That's a lot of names.
Hint,
yes.
Namebreaker.
Right. That's very interesting.
Is she an
oracle? She also says some other cool stuff. And we know she's a witch, but maybe.
Right. Maybe.
What if her and Adina are related?
What if they're besties?
What if it's Adina's mom? I'm reaching.
You are.
She's in the library. Who else would have set the mating pairs free? She is a witch, or was a witch.
She has power, yeah.
She has power. Maybe they were friends. Maybe they're related. I don't know. That would be a way in, though, rather than the random alchemist that Malcolm used to talk about.
Right.
So she also says, the king of the Yavelian Fae has never stepped foot across the threshold of your domain, my queen, she said mockingly. My father forbade it. That poisonous old toad has never saw an audience with my books. They are intact. Why, Malcolm? Why did you care so much about these books? So much that you knew if Belicon came over to your lands that he would destroy these books as he did everything else. Then we hear, my father was a patron of the alchemists, which, who is her father? Malcolm, right? He supported their crafts, nurtured them. Where others only saw danger, Malcolm of Sanisroth saw power. Oh yes, an alchemist is a dangerous thing. Has no one ever told you what you are? No one's told you why Bellicon and your precious Queen Madra both hunted down and murdered all your kind? This woman is dropping a fucking bomb of information on us. And who shuts her down? Who does it, Kass? You go ahead and tell me. I know who it is, but you should tell us anyways. Taladeus, that's right. You don't need to scare her. Don't scare Ceres. Have you met Ceres? I'm sorry. Have you met her? Have you ever spoken to her? She can handle information, Tal. What is it that you don't want to be known? What secret are you fucking hiding from us?
All right, you got me there. You got me there.
And the fact that Ceres didn't be like, shut the fuck up, Taladeus. This is important.
No, because she's just trusting whoever tells her whatever. At this point, she's still just listening to whatever anybody tells her. I don't think she's thinking yet. She's just doing what she's doing, going through the motions.
We were being told all this, and he shuts it down, and I was like, excuse you?
Also, why was Malcolm like, all hail the alchemist, we need them.
Right.
But then the two others were like, kill them all.
And again, he harps on the fact
those
that he used to have an alchemist with him.
Yeah, and those three are supposed to be like one and the same.
Mm-hmm. My question was Malcolm always as evil as he is described out to be?
I don't think so.
Right?
What if he's like some great guy?
Or what if that alchemist that he was with was his lover, like his love?
Mm-hmm. That's true.
And then therefore he took care of the information that they had, right? Because it was important. And then that alchemist was like taken away from him in whatever way. And then he decided like, I'm going to be evil.
Yeah, maybe.
And then like a couple screws came loose.
Because it is 2 against 1 on this topic. Mm-hmm. So what if they killed his lover?
Yeah, they might have. And he knew that if Bellicon came over, he would destroy those books. So we meet Guru, and I love him. Hello, Shadow Cat. So in order to use the books in the library, Ceres has to pay a price. Blood is the only price to pay, right? 5 drops, and she puts them in a bowl of milk. And 5 drops of blood equals 1 book. Ceres gave him 2 extra drops of undiluted blood, and now he's gonna howl all night long.
I love that, actually. I was like, yeah, fuck that bitch and her rules. Much.
But, like, can you, like, yes, but also can you imagine if you were like, okay, like, you can have to your kid, like, okay, you can have a cookie, and then you're like, someone sneaks them a fucking chocolate bar, and you're like, now they're gonna be up all night. I'm never gonna sleep. You'd be like,
Elga, though, like, she deserves it. That cat.
I loved her till a moment.
Deserves that little snack. It's fine.
He does. He does deserve it, yes. So, here's why, again, we are reminded that the devil is in the details. Ceres wants to know how she can keep Algit out of her head. And she says, you can command me not to, but I would strongly advise against it. You never know when you might need me to hear your thoughts. Ceres is then immediately attacked by a stranger, and so she kneed him in the testes and jammed a blade into his ribs. That was silver-tipped.
Mm-hmm.
I think that there is so much information about Algit in this library and Algit in general. I think that she is going to be an important character in book 3. I think she's going to come back in book 3.
I agree.
I think that in book 3, there will be a point in time where Ceres will need Algit to hear her thoughts, and she won't be able to. And she'll have to either immediately grant it or be like, I can't help you, sorry.
Right. I think Algit is, in my head, I grouped her in with that group of witches that we're going to need in book 3. Like, she is going to need to be there.
Mm-hmm. Agreed.
Yeah.
And as soon as someone attacked her, I knew in my heart that was Foley.
I
was like,
same.
There it is. There he is. We've been looking for him this whole time. Where are you, Foley? Yes.
And then he's like, here I am.
Before she could get... Yeah, he's like, it's me. And before she could get answers on the motive, her runes freak out, and she lets out a giant white and blue shockwave and tears a massive 20-foot hole in the library walls.
Sounds about right.
Damn. Yes.
Sounds about right. Last and final chapter. Here we go. This one's pretty crazy. Chapter 15, LORRETH. The boys play good cop, bad cop with Shaw, who is a true rat. Carrion unfortunately returns to his dumbass ways, and Shaw tricks him, even though Kingfisher caught on before. So now we gotta play with the demon. So, this is where things take a turn. Again, where my anxiety spikes. Okay, so Carrion and Kingfisher find Shaw, right? But he doesn't want to help them. He's like, I've got debt with Carrion, and I got debt with this other man named Eric. Either I give you your part of the debt and I'm killed by him, or either I stay true to him and you kill me. And at this point, Kingfisher's like, just kill him. It doesn't matter. Just kill him at this point. And Carrion's like, no, he has my shit. We gotta find it. Okay, so with this conversation, and as they end up following Shaw to the moved funds from Carrion, Kingfisher keeps having like red flag moments and feeling like something's off, but he doesn't mention it. He's just talking about it to himself in his head. And he doesn't mention it until it's a little bit too late. So for one of the first things he says is he's like, why is this guy so squirrely? Like, what's wrong with him? He's like, he's acting weird. Why is he acting like this? 2, he says, why is Shaw so set on coming with us? Right? Instead of just being like, this is where I moved your funds to. He's like, I'll come with you. I'll take you there. And he's like, why does he want to go with us so much? Because he's going to kill you. That's why. And the third one is that when they turn down this alley, right? Shaw's leading them there, and he does a quick turn down this alley and goes out of view. He thinks Shaw is trying to run away. And then he turns around the alley, and he's not. He's right there waiting for them. But he's like, that's kind of weird. All right. So he has these like moments where he's like, something's off. But he's not saying anything. He's just like, weird, weird, weird. Lets it pass. Which is so out of sorts for Kingfisher, in my opinion. This is where I have a theory, okay? And you can tell me if I'm completely reading this wrong or if you have a theory on it yourself. So they get to this door in this alley that is like built into the wall that you can't really see it unless you really look for it. Like even Kingfisher's like, wow, yeah, you're right. I wouldn't have seen that unless you would have told me it was there. Shaw says he needs Carrion to open the door. Carrion says it's just a magnet. Because Shaw explains, oh, when Eric opened this door, he did this fancy wavy thing. And then it opens. And Carrion like looks at Kingfisher and he's like, should I tell this idiot? And he's like, it's just a magnet. So he takes his knife out and like swipes it and the door unlocks. Okay. Shaw then says, what's a magnet? But Shaw knows what's up the stairs, right? We end up knowing at this point. Shaw knows what's up there. He knows that it's hungry. So how does he know these things? How does he talk and visit with what's at the top of the stairs when Carrion isn't there or Eric isn't there for somebody to open that door for him? Because he's like, I need you to open that door. You're going to see why in a minute. I.e., is the person that is going to be fed to the demon at the top of those stairs, do they have to open the door? Because he says Eric opened the door before. Also, where the fuck is Eric? And 2, he makes Carrion open the door. So if that has to do with the theory that you have to open the door and you're the one that's going to be fed to the demon, like, is that in connection to him? But how does he get up there and talk to him any other time? Why is he so... I don't know. It's just a weird little thing that I was like, why is he so set on making them open this door and acting like he doesn't know how to open it or he can't open it? And being like, what's a magnet? But he's been there multiple times before. And he works for this demon.
I don't think that it's connected. I think that it was a ploy to make him look dumb and unknowing and therefore non-threatening. And I think that the goal was to pin everything on Eric, right? Eric said this, or Eric did that, or Eric did this. Where is Eric? Right? I don't know how to open the door. Eric did this. I'm just taking you there. I'm just helping you, right? I don't know. And then when you get up there, obviously it's a different thing. And so there's one dead body on the way up, right? That has Fae ears. So we know it's Fae. But there's also another body up there that it's never clarified on whether or not they have Fae ears or not. So I think that was Eric.
Probably. I think Eric's dead.
I think
there's no way he's not dead.
I think Eric is definitely dead. I think that Eric is the fetal position body up there that the demon feasted on for a while, right? And I think that Voreth stole all the silver for him. Stole all the silver, took it up there, lured Eric. You can hide your stuff here, my friend. Let me open this weird door, right? And then, JK, your food, and now I have all the silver.
Yeah. So, which on the way up, Kingfisher, this is the only time he says something about all the things that he's saying. Or all the things that he's noticing. He's finally like, hold on, Carrion, stop. We're done here. We're done. Yeah. And Carrion's like, no, I want my money. And this is where Carrion's dumb ass comes back into play. And of course, he ends up being pushed into this demon trap. Kingfisher knows what a demon is, right? We end up learning that. And he also knows what a demon trap is. Is that because his dad was a demon god? Like, we know that it has to do with his mom kind of talking about the demons when he was younger and like, oh, What does this demon do? How do you get away from it? Why? Yep. Why? Why was that so focused on in his childhood? Is it because Daddy's a demon?
I don't think Styx is a demon god. I think there's another set of gods that are demon gods and or forgotten gods. I think Styx is a regular god of shadows.
But remember, Aerith works for him. And Aerith said that his gods are demon gods. And he is Styx's emissary.
Supposedly.
But still.
I don't know if I believe that either. Supposedly. I don't know. I don't know who put the demon there. And then if he is a demon god...
I have theories about that.
Why lock up... Well, okay, yes. I have thoughts.
We'll get into that. We'll get into that.
We're going to get back to it. Yes.
Yeah.
So, LORRETH had every red fucking flag you can think of. Right? And we ignored them for a long part of this chapter.
Yeah.
So, some things I want to point out are... I have a lot of quotes in this one. So, there was a glowing green substance that looked an awful lot like liquefied, concentrated even light. Where the fuck did Vorith Shaw find all this stuff? First of all, if this demon was stuck here in this tower and locked in here where there was no light, how on earth did he find liquid, concentrated even light? And... the actual moment that they saw a dead fucking Fae, they should have ran. What do you mean we kept going?
They tried. At least Kingfisher tried, but Carrion was too focused on his money.
He was like, we're done here. He should have been like, we're leaving, and like physically removed that man. He should have known that Carrion wasn't gonna go. And Carrion passed the dead body first. Actually not.
Carrion's Carrion.
Which is why Kingfisher should have thrown that man over his shoulders and walked away.
Yeah, that's fair.
So, he says, God's a fucking live. I trudged up the last few steps, already regretting the fact that I hadn't just turned and left. It's a demon's trap. Kingfisher is so calm about this situation, even knowing what it is. It's
because he was prepared for this
like,
his entire life.
He's so chill about it, right? And he says, what is it? I demanded. Aarongoth, Noltik, Breathchef. It couldn't have been Mort Hill. Mort Hill had been trapped in the maze with me for the past century. I couldn't remember any of the names of the other lost demons. And obviously, we're going to have other lost demons in book 3. Like, that's a theory that I have. And his holy name is Joshin, Lord of the Desert, King of the Dark Dream, made of 1,000,000 fucking scorpions. Yeah, new demons that are not lost anymore in book 3.
Absolutely not.
Isn't that wild?
Absolutely not.
Yes. So... that is our chapters for today. However, we have 2 more things we're going to talk about. The first one I want to talk about is the maps. In an interview, Callie was like, I don't know why you guys haven't figured out this map shit yet. Like, I put a bunch of stuff in there. And I have been pondering that thought at 2 a.m. for a long time now. And here's what I found. I compared the original Quicksilver map to the new Quicksilver Deluxe Edition and the new Brimstone, right? The Quicksilver Deluxe Edition and the Brimstone one match. As far as I can tell, everything is the same. But there are a lot of differences between the two. So the first one is Nevercross. We learned that Nevercross is a word in the new chapters of Brimstone. But in the map, in the new Deluxe Edition of, again, Brimstone and Quicksilver, Nevercross is there. It's labeled right there. But it's not in the original one, right? Also, pirate ships, plural. Okay. In the original, there is one very faint pirate ship in the OG, and now there are 3 fully viewed ships. And we have Graves Point next to Turan Ross Island. So these are all very new places that we don't even hear about in this freaking book.
Right.
Also, mermaids. There's mermaids. Where are they? And then there are mermaids sitting on top of sea dragons. The OG book has a sea dragon at the very, very bottom versus... the new one that has multiple sea dragons with mermaids on top of them. Where are my mermaids, Callie Hart? Where are my sea dragons?
Also, we have real dragons and sea dragons.
Pirates come back. Yes. Where are they coming from?
Crazy.
I just had to point out those things to get them off my chest because they were like sitting heavy.
You know what? Fair. That's fair.
Right? It's wild. I don't know. Okay. What was your favorite quote of the chapters that we did today?
Okay, so mine is obviously from LORRETH because we love LORRETH. He's a king. So this is when they're in the bar, right after he talked about having a blood-soaked orgy. But he says, what do you call a fully dressed Sansarathian? LORRETH asked, his tone droll as he made a beeline for the bar. I don't know, I replied. Me either. I've never fucking seen one. This man wild out here, okay?
He's so funny. We're sleeping on Lorreth for sure. Okay, here is one about King, like that Kingfisher says, but it's about Lorreth as well. This is our Lorreth episode.
Yeah,
so
true.
He says, well, that was a turn up for the books. How many times have I disappeared from a female's bed before she'd woken? Honestly, not that many. Not as many times as Lorreth, that was for sure. Lorreth! What are you doing?
The man is a man whore. He might be more of one than Tal.
Than Carrion.
Yeah, what if he's more of one? You know what? Not surprised.
Not surprised.
Not surprised. The man is
I love it. I'm 100% here for it. Thank you guys for joining us today. I had so much fun. We will see you guys next week. If you liked this episode, please make sure to like, rate, and subscribe to our channel, and we will see you next week.